I'm Kelly Walter. I've got Kelly Burke with me. Kelly, say hello.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, that's right. So probably guess what today's topic's going to be by looking behind us, right? What do you see? You see some cars. That's right. Talking about auto loans. All right, cool. Well, let's do a quick shout out to last week's winner for the kids session. We did a drawing and we picked Sasha or Shasa Pitts. Not sure which way she says it, but either $25 richer.
You won.
Congratulations. That's right. We'll be reaching out to you and we'll send your card in the mail. So Kelly, you're teaching our auto loan session today.
I am teaching the auto loan session and I'm super excited because buying a car is a very confusing, scary, exciting. It's all these emotions wrapped into one. And when you're starting out, it's usually the first big purchase that you're going to make. We want to give you the tools and information that you may need to make a good decision and feel good about it. So I just want to say, let's drive along with Jen as she makes her new car purchase.
Yeesh, I really need a car.
Hi, hello there. Hold on a minute. Have I got the perfect vehicle for you?
Is that a question?
No question about it. Here's your dream car. It's compact, high-tech, only driven by Grandma on Sundays.
No offense or anything, but I think I'm better off buying something brand new.
On the contrary, did you know that a new vehicle can lose almost half its value in the first few years?
What? Seriously?
That brand new car you're thinking of buying starts losing value the moment you drive it off the lot and loses the most value in the first few years. That's why buying a car that's a few years old can be a great way to save some cash. It's all right here in my trusty blue book.
But I don't know where that car's been. Ugh.
Hey, watch it, lady. I've been around the block a few times, sure, but I'm still in tip-top shape.
What? A talking car? Well, I'm sold.
Great! It's a deal. I'll go get the paperwork.
You know, we're really just not right for each other.
I always wanted a talking car. We can say hi to joggers and sing songs on road trips together.
Whatever. What do you know about buying a used car anyway?
Just pick the newest, cheapest one. Simple.
That might just backfire on you.
I'm certainly not the cheapest. I don't think she gets it.
First of all, you've got to do your research. Start off by setting a realistic price range. You don't want to get stuck making monthly payments you can't afford down the road.
I see what you did there.
Only look for makes and models that fit into your price range. Keep in mind the cost of insurance and repairs, as well as the features you actually need.
Like mega awesome talking ability?
Like the junk you're hauling around. There's no way I can carry all that.
Yeah, I guess not. Maybe a roof rack, though?
Roof racks are so not my style.
You may be better off with a nice hatchback. Have a look over there.
Well, this one is pretty awful, but I like the sporty one. I'll buy this one instead. I can always throw on some talk radio.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Pump the brakes there, Turbo.
Before you commit to a used car purchase, you should always evaluate the car. First, take a good long test drive to get a feel for the car and to spot any immediate problems. Then get the vehicle checked by a trusted independent mechanic. Finally, get a report of the vehicle's history based on the VIN.
The what now?
The Vehicle Identification Number, or VIN, can usually be found on the driver's side where the windshield meets the dash. The VIN provides useful information on a car's accident and repair history, manufacturer recalls, and vehicle use.
Wait, hold the phone. It says here this hatchback has been used to deliver bowling balls to ski resorts for years, and it once got major water damage from rolling into a hot tub. No thanks.
Glad you checked, aren't you?
Heck yeah. I just wish I could afford a car as clever as you, but maybe with some more room.
We've got options for miles. Let's wheel and deal, huh?
Well, I'm no master negotiator.
You don't say.
Learning to effectively negotiate is very important, whether you're shopping at a dealership or buying direct from the previous owner.
And the most important part of negotiating is always being prepared to walk away.
I think I'm gonna take some time, do my research, and then come back with the perfect game plan.
Good idea. See you then. Remember, research, evaluate, negotiate.
Nice job, sales guy. You sure know how to close the deal.
Go take a joyride.
La 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 la.
I should have done my research.
Okay, so we just got to watch Jen and her car buying experience. So we're going to drive right into our presentation and go over the different things you need to look for when you're buying a used car. We're going to talk about researching, evaluating, and negotiating to get your best deal. So the benefits of buying used cars. So usually it's a much lower price. Buying a used car is more cost effective than buying a brand new car. There's a wider selection because there's a ton of used cars out there. So you can go to lots all over the place and purchase a used car. You can avoid the depreciation. Usually when you drive a car off the lot, within the next couple of years, there's a 30% depreciation in the original value. And then the resale value. If you sell your used car in a few years, you will lose less money on the resale than if you would have bought it new. You usually save quite a bit of money.
Now, I do want to give a little disclaimer.
Yeah.
We're not saying don't go buy a new car, but we want you to see that there is value in a used car. Sometimes you can get a really good deal on a new car, and sometimes people have peace of mind knowing that a car has never been driven by someone before, and it most likely doesn't have any issues. But then Kelly and I, we also know individuals who have bought brand new vehicles, and within the first 2 years, they have a mechanical issue. There is no magic crystal ball sitting on our desk that can tell us if a new car is going to perform better. And most of you guys, your first vehicle doesn't need to be super duper expensive. And so it's a good first step.
So let's talk about researching a new car. So the first thing you need to do is set a realistic price range for that car and come up with a good solid number of a car that you can afford. And when you're selecting that price range, keep in mind the repairs, the insurance, and whatever features you want for the car. And maybe talk to your insurance company to see how much the insurance is going to cost on top of that. Because not every car has the same insurance, and depending on your age, it can be a huge spread as far as the payments are concerned. So set a goal. So then we need to figure out what kind of car you need, because not everybody needs the same thing. There's compact cars, there's sedans, there's vans, and there's trucks. Get pre-approved for financing. I think this is one of the most important things, don't you, Kelly?
Yeah, it probably is the most important.
Yeah. So go to your credit union, go to your bank, go to your financial institution and talk with them, fill out an application and find out what you're pre-approved for, because doing this gives you the price range that you need. So you're not going to go out and look at a $40,000 car when your budget is $10,000. If you know you've been approved for $10,000 and you can afford those monthly payments, you don't want to go higher than that. And then find your vehicle. There's so many cars out there. So you can visit manufacturers' websites. You can look on cars.com. You can look on Craigslist. There's cars for sale on every corner, in every town, and everywhere. But look it up, find out, do research on the vehicles, find out the good and the bad about the vehicles. But one thing that is important to remember is just because a car has good reviews in general doesn't mean that's a specific car that you're looking at is a good car. And then there's a couple of different ways. There's dealerships and car lots, and then there's private sellers. Then there's one other one that we're going to talk about in a second that's not listed down here, but it's important to know that they're out there. But the benefits of a private seller is a lot of times you can just get a great price on the vehicle. Somebody, instead of trading it in, they're willing to sell it. And it's usually a really good deal. That's what I did with my car. The last car that I had, I sold it actually to one of my coworkers. But sometimes you can get a really good deal on purchasing a car directly from an individual. It's less intimidating to negotiate because you're not working with a salesperson. Car salesmen get a bad rap sometimes, but when you're dealing with a private individual, it may not be as intimidating to do that. And then you don't have dealership fees associated with it. So there's dealership fees, there's upcharges for different kinds of maintenance and things like that you're not going to get when you're buying from a private seller. And then the advantages of a used car lot or a dealer is that most of them offer a warranty. It's a little peace of mind. Some of them only have a 10-day or a 30-day warranty, but that warranty is there, and it makes you feel a little more comfortable about buying the vehicle. The extras. Dealers will often throw in extras for free that a private seller can't, like an oil change or something like that. And then dealers do take trade-ins that I don't know that a private seller would take a trade-in unless it's something that they really wanted.
Right. It's not likely.
Right. Now, the disadvantages are buying from a private seller is that you don't have any protection when you're buying that vehicle. It's usually a as-is purchase. If you discover after the fact that there's a problem, it's your problem. And then owners tend to be very attached to their vehicles and to their stuff. So you can't lowball them, and they may be offended by it. They may not want to deal with you. With a dealership, it tends to have higher prices and higher pressure negotiation. So dealing with a salesperson, there's the back and forth, and then they go talk to the manager, and then they come back, and you go back and forth on it, and it can be a little daunting. I've bought a lot of cars in my day, and I don't like to do that. And I know how to do it, but that is not something that I like to do. And then the third thing that's not on here is a lot of times you'll find somebody posting online and it looks like it's a private seller, but it's not, it's a dealership. And that's something that we call curb stoning. But what curb stoning is basically is it's a dealer selling a vehicle as a private salesperson, and they're not allowed to do that. So if you call somebody and they say, what car are you calling about? Or where did you see us at? A lot of times, if it's an individual seller, they know what car you're calling about because it's usually the only car that they're selling. So be weary of that because they're supposed to be full disclosure when it's a car dealership selling a vehicle. And then, so you've gone to the dealership and now you need to evaluate the car. So there's things that you have to do. Look past that, get over the initial excitement about it, and then inspect the car. If you don't know what you're looking for, take somebody with you that does. You inspect the interior. Before you ever get in the car, you inspect the exterior. Look for paint mismatches, look for oversprays, look for body damage, look for rust. So looking for rust underneath the car, that's a lot to get underneath the car and look, but take it somewhere. If you get to the point where everything else looks great, take it somewhere and have it inspected, and they'll let you know if there's rust underneath, if it's not obvious.
Yeah. So what Kelly means by take it somewhere is, a lot of you are, your parents may have a mechanic that they trust. I know my family does. And so before we take it to the manufacturer's dealership, sometimes we'll go to that, mechanic first because he's a lot less expensive. And we can really trust him because he's not going to tell us, we've learned that he's not going to tell us something that isn't necessarily needed. Not to say that dealerships do, they're certainly still trustworthy, but their cost is a lot less per hour, depending on what repair needs to be done. Hopefully they would be really honest with you and tell you, this isn't a vehicle I would want my son or daughter driving, really what parents are looking for.
Absolutely. Thanks for clarifying that. And if they don't want you to take it somewhere else, if they have their own mechanic and they say, no, we'll have this person. No, you're making a big purchase, whether it's a $5,000 purchase or a $40,000 purchase, it's your purchase, and make an educated decision. Take it somewhere that you trust and have them look at it for you. So once you're done checking everything, get ready to take the car for a test drive. And again, if you're not real familiar with it, if you haven't had a lot of experience with driving, bring somebody with you. Bring mom, dad, uncle, whoever. Bring somebody with you, plan your route. So you want to drive it on the highway if you can. You want to drive it in the city roads, rural roads. I know here in Tallahassee, you can take it to all those places within just a few miles of each other. Vary the terrain, test the wipers, the turn signals, stereos, make sure there's no check engine lights, things like that. And then be sure when you're driving it, drive it when it's cold. Start it up, make sure that the engine hasn't been warmed up before you got there, and test drive it so you can see if it gets too hot. And then check the alignment. You check to see if the car, when you let go of the wheel, check to see if it pulls to the right or left. Check the gearbox. And a lot of this you may not know. That's why I'm saying to bring somebody with you that has been driving for a while. The gears should shift smoothly. And if you hear grinding noises, there may be something wrong with the transmission. There may not be, but pay attention to that. And then check the brakes. Again, be careful on this one that you don't do it too hard. But find an empty road and accelerate, and then hit the brakes hard and see if the car pulls to one side or another, because it may be an issue with that as well. And then the vehicle history report. The vehicle history report, like a Carfax, will show you any repair records and sometimes just regular maintenance records that a vehicle has had done to it. It'll show any type of accidents that there's been a police report on. It will show most everything that's happened with that vehicle. You can pull one for no charge, but to actually get the information, there's a charge. But to me, I think what is it, around $40, Kelly? Mm-hmm. It's worth it. The inspection is worth it, and the Carfax is worth it because it gives you a little peace of mind. Now, just because you pull a Carfax doesn't mean it's 100% accurate, but you have the guarantee with Carfax that if something does show up, that they cover part of it. I don't know all the details, but it is written at the bottom, but you have a little bit of a warranty there if you pull the Carfax and something is not on there.
Most dealerships these days, especially, really accredited, well-known dealerships, usually provide the Carfax right on their website. So you can see that before you even call them to schedule a test drive or something like that.
So now it's time to negotiate. So you found your car, you've kicked the tires, you've taken it for a test drive, everything looks great, and now what? So now you negotiate. And again, if you're negotiating with a private seller, it may be you may not have as big a negotiating area, and you may, but usually private sellers don't mark it up as much, or don't put in as much of a buffer there that the car dealerships do, because car dealers have to pay their employees. So remember that dealers don't just make money on the selling price. They get money on the front end when they're selling the car for more than they paid for it. They get money on the back end if you do the financing, but we've already got you pre-approved at the credit union, so you don't want to get your financing at the dealership because you already know what you're approved for and you're ready to go. And then they make money on the trade-in, so they're going to give you money for your trade-in, and then they're going to turn around and sell it, so they make the difference up there as well. So they've got 3 different ways to make money on you. So dealers build about 20% gross margin into the asking price of the car. That means that they're marking the car up 20% more than they paid for it. So research the price. You can go online. You can look this up. Cars.com. There's NADA guides and Kelley Blue Book. We should know Kelley Blue Book.
I know, right? They spell it wrong, though.
I know. So research the price, find out what the price is, the going prices for your area. Make sure that when you're doing that, though, you're comparing apples to apples. So make sure that you're looking at, you've got the mileage down, the condition of the vehicle, and there's other factors. Make sure that if the tires are brand new, that's all things that you have to consider because they spent money on that. But find out what the going rate is for that type of vehicle, check classified ads, check online, and then make an offer. Offer 15% below the asking price, and the salesperson will tell you that they may or may not be able to do that. They'll go back and forth. This is that negotiation thing. You offer them something, they come back with something. You offer something, they come back with something. Know that they have to make a profit. They're not going to sell you a vehicle and make zero profit or take a loss. So just be prepared for that. And then turn down add-ons. One of the biggest things you can get at a dealership are all the add-ons. They offer warranties. They offer mechanical services. They offer oil change services. They offer all those things. And really, if you find value in some of those, that's fine. The biggest thing is the warranty and the gap. Know that your credit union or bank also offers a warranty and a gap product. And a lot of times it's a lot cheaper at your bank or credit union than it's going to be at the dealership, because they also make commissions on those. And then this is the toughest one. Be prepared to walk away. You've fallen in love with the car, you want it, you're negotiating, and they're not coming down to where you need it to be. Be willing to walk away from it. It's just a car. There's thousands of cars out there. So don't be so attached to it where you can't walk away from it if it's not where you need it to be. And that's a lot of times people get in trouble with that. And they see a car, they fall in love with it, they can't get it for the price that they wanted. But somebody says, well, we can get you in this car and it'll be for this. And they just think, okay, well, that's only $50 more a month, or that's only $100 more a month. And they're caught up in the moment and they want that car. Don't do that, because it is just a car. You will be okay. You will find another one and it'll be in your price range. So don't get attached. And sometimes if you're prepared to walk away and you walk away, they might come back and get you and give it to you for the price that you were asking for it, or offering for it before. It's important to remember when you're buying a used car or buying a new car to follow along with the research, evaluate, and negotiate, and not getting caught up in the moment and just seeing something and thinking it's so cute. Like with Jen, when she saw the talking car, it was everything to her and she was good to go. And the car talked her out of it. So the car's not going to talk you out of it, because cars don't talk. But take your time, research, evaluate, and negotiate the deal, and be prepared to walk away. I think that's the best advice that you can get on either a new car or a used car. Or one thing that we didn't touch on here, but we didn't talk about leasing a car. Ellie, can you talk a little bit about the differences between leasing and buying?
Yeah, so leasing is kind of like paying rent. So you're not the actual owner of the car, but you're renting from the dealership. It is not recommended for your first-time buyer, especially. So for you young folks, I don't recommend that. Some of your parents might lease a vehicle, so you might want to ask, if you have a parent that's leasing a vehicle, ask them, why do you like to do that? And what's the benefit? Or let's talk about the differences. So when I get out there and buy my first vehicle, what do I need to consider? So
we've given you a lot of information. I think my takeaway from it is, remember, this is not your forever car. You don't need to be super flashy. You need something that's going to get you from point A to point B, and you're going to learn how to balance that budget. You're going to learn how to pay for your gas and how much insurance costs and the true cost of owning a car. I think we talked a couple weeks ago about buying a house, and there's a true cost to buying a house that doesn't include just the mortgage payment. There's other factors, and the cars are no different.
That's true. And my advice to you would be, definitely stay focused on the point of the vehicle, and that's safe transportation, affordable transportation. And we hope that you will, really just stay within your means. Don't get too cray-cray. All right. Well, Kelly, thanks for leading this session. It's really good. I hope that those of you who are watching can get excited about what your first car might be, but also keeping it real. So thanks for joining us. That wraps up today's edition of MoneyWise Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Same place, same time. See you later.